Before you watch Sky News at night or read the Murdoch rag, ask yourself one simple question. When pensioners needed help, where was Pauline Hanson? Not where was she on TV. Not where was she when there was a camera. Not where was she when she could blame migrants, Muslims, trans people, labor, or anyone else. When real policies to help older Australians came before the Senate, where was Pauline Hanson when the vote was called? Because pensioners don't live on slogans. Pensioners live on the age pension. They live with power bills. They live with rent. They live with medicine costs. They live with aged care. They live with food prices. And for many older Australians, there is no just go get another job option. Some pensioners are too old. Some are too sick. Some have broken bodies from a lifetime hard labor. Some are carers. Some are widowed. Some are renting. Some are already choosing between heating, medication, and groceries. So when Pauline Hanson says her big answer is to let pensioners work more without losing pension, stop and think about what that really means. That is not a proper pensioner policy. That is not lifting people out of poverty. That is not dignity in retirement. That is saying, if you are poor at 70, 75, or 80, stiff shit. You can go back to work. That might help a small number of fit, healthy pensioners who want to work. But what about the pensioner with cancer? What about the pensioner with a bad back? You know, the one you see at your local grocery store struggling to carry home his loaf of bread? What about the widow renting alone? What about the person who already gave this country 45 years of hard labor? They do not need a politician telling them to work until they drop. They need a pension they can actually live on. They need rent assistance. They need cheaper medicines. They need energy relief. They need decent aged care. They need politicians who show up and vote when it counts. And that is where Hanson's record falls apart. Since 2018, when real policies came before the Senate to help older Australians with pension payments, aged care, energy relief, rent pressure, and cost of living support, Pauline Hanson's record tells a very different story. Too often, she didn't show up. Too often, she actively blocked support. And too often, pensioners got the slogans while the she voted against them. A no-show does not pay the power bill. A no-show does not fill a prescription. A no-show does not raise the pension. A no-show does not help an elderly renter keep a roof over their head. And when she does offer something, it is often the same trick, make it sound like she is helping pensioners, but in reality it shifts the burden back onto the pensioner. Go back to work. That is not respect. That is not retirement dignity. That is not standing up for older Australians. That is looking busy while avoiding the real issue. The real issue is simple. Australia has too many older people living in poverty, especially pensioners who rent. People worked their whole lives, paid tax, raised families, built this country, and now some of them are being told the answer is to stack shelves until they die. That should make every pensioner stop and think. Who actually benefits when pensioners are told to keep working instead of demanding a fair pension? Who benefits when anger is aimed at migrants and culture wars instead of the cost of living? Who benefits when older Australians are distracted from the voting record? Because the policies and voting record matters. Not the speeches. Not the Facebook posts. Not the outrage. The policies and the votes to get them through the Senate. When the choice is between a party that puts forward policies to help pensioners and politicians who actually show up to vote those policies into law, or a politician who performs for pensioners while blocking support through no votes and no shows, the choice should be obvious. Vote for the people with real policies. Vote for the people who show up. Vote for the people who back pensioners when the vote is called. Not the politician with big money backing, loud slogans, and a record that shows the opposite of what she says. Pauline Hanson is not the pensioners' champion. She is a protest politician who uses pensioners as a backdrop, then fails to deliver the real support many older Australians need. So before you vote One Nation, ask yourself, did she help raise the pension? Did she help pensioners out of poverty? Did she show up for aged care? Did she show up for rent assistance? Did she show up for cheaper living costs? Or did she just tell struggling older Australians they should be allowed to work more? Because if you are 70, 75, or 80, the answer should not be go back to work. The answer should be dignity, security, a fair pension, affordable medicine, a roof over your head, and politicians who actually show up when your life is on the line. That is the test. And Pauline Hanson fails it.